raining threes for Minnesota. That is Ant-Man, all business coming in. Under 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Naz Reid catch and shoot the three. 4-4 from beyond the arc. T-Wolves up by 13. Dante DiVincenzo pulls up for a deep three. It's good at the buzzer. 11 made threes in the first half. Time for the most in any half in the playoffs in franchise history.
Wow.
Take it to the third quarter. T-Wolves up by 11. Jaden McDaniels, he said, look, let me get on the action too. Team high 25 points for him. 3-3 from beyond the arc. Anthony Edwards gets deep, catch and shoot, 29 feet. T-Wolves up by 22. Anthony Edwards again steps right into it.
Oof.
He's like, I'm having a field day, celebrating. Under 9 minutes left in the game. Anthony Edwards gives it up, gets it back, and nails it over Luka Doncic. And then lets him know about it too. You know it's Anthony Edwards, so he's gonna talk some trash. Take a look at this. He's like, yeah, right over you.
You can't do Luka like that now.
Record it win 117-95. Here's the countdown crew.
So it's the Minnesota Timberwolves that gets the best of the Los Angeles Lakers here in Game 1. Perkins said repeatedly, I can't just call it a punch. It was
They got dropped.
It was a little bit more than that. What was it that made the difference here for the Minnesota Timberwolves in this game?
Well, they were making threes, and they put the Lakers on their heels offensively because they were making threes, number one. Number two, they got aggressive. They got all up in them defensively. Number three, I don't know if anybody's going to mention this, but I'm going to mention this. Where was LeBron James tonight? He was very, very lethargic. Very lethargic. And this Saturday night, I don't know what the hell was going on with him. J.J. Redick went on camera and said, quote, we don't have any energy. It's like guys don't even recognize that it's the playoffs. What the hell is going on up in here? He was scratching his head, looking like he had dandruff for crying out loud because he couldn't figure it out. This is the kind of stuff that you're talking about. I don't suspect this will happen in Game 2, but that's how much J.J. was scratching his head because he couldn't believe what we couldn't believe. Luka showed up offensively. He was a liability defensively, and LeBron James was a liability, period, and nobody on Minnesota was, and that's why they won this game.
A playoff franchise record, 21 threes for Minnesota in this one, Perk.
I mean, that's been J.J. Redick's game plan the whole entire season, right? Pack the paint and force guys to make shots. And Bob Myers called it luck, and it really is. These are professional athletes, right? These guys on Minnesota can make shots. Anthony Edwards, Dante, even Julius Randle knocking down the three at a pretty nice clip. But again, it was the defense for me. They made them uncomfortable. Got on their heels like a pair of church socks. That was the difference maker.
And Jaden McDaniels. I mean, two things that I looked at this game was Jaden McDaniels and how would Ant-Man handle the traps and different things like that. Jaden McDaniels had 25 points, career playoff high, and then on the traps. Ant-Man, you grew up tonight, dog. You really grew up. And sometimes as a very, very talented player, the hardest thing to do as a coach is to get him to make the easy play. He made the easy play.
So you're J.J. Redick. You're going back to the drawing board. The most important adjustments happen oftentimes between Game 1 and Game 2. The onus is on the coach who lost to be able to bring it in Game 2. That's J.J. Redick. What do?
I go back to a little bit more of Jackson Hayes at the 5. I get back with more of that lob threat for Luka. And then on defense, we got to figure out what we're going to do with Ant-Man. That same defense didn't work. Him packing the paint, him getting in the paint, bringing 5 guys, and daring him to make the right play, he grew up. That doesn't work anymore.
Luka scored 37, didn't mean a thing. LeBron James got to show up. It's the playoffs.
It's a great matchup. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. And then Saturday night, primetime Lakers run off the court at home by the Timberwolves despite a hot start from Luka Doncic, who finished with 37. Where do you point the finger of blame, Booze, at the Lakers for their Game 1 loss?
I mean, as opposed to just saying, you know, the Timberwolves did their job, but for the Lakers, the others have to step up. Only 13 bench points, Queenie.
13 bench points for LA. It's interesting because the Minnesota bench players, their quote-unquote supporting cast, all had a pretty good game, or many of them had a pretty game. My old buddy Jalen Rose always used to say to me when we were doing NBA together, and always sticks in my head, the role players tend to play great at home. That's where you count on it. This time, it seemed to flip a little bit here. It was Minnesota that got the good performance from the quote-unquote other players.
Yeah, McDaniels was probably the best player on the court last night, did a great job. Naz Reid had 23 off the bench. The others from Minnesota showed up. This is a series where everybody picked the Lakers. We picked the Lakers too. Minnesota has a chip on their shoulder, and they're playing like they have something to prove.
Well, we know that Shannon Sharpe has picked the Lakers repeatedly and always in rhyming form. He does it in couplet form, and he's got them winning in 5. Well, Stephen A. watched the game on Saturday night, and he was giving Shannon the business. Take a look at the tweet here from Stephen A. Someone just texted me with this message to send directly to Shannon Sharpe. AAA, NWA, I don't care what Shannon has to say, Lakers ain't winning in 5. So let's start, Marcus, with your thoughts on how well that rhymed. And secondly, I will ask you that ever-popular question. Was this a bad game or a bad sign, Marcus Morris, for the Lakers?
I would say just a bad game, right? The others just didn't come to play. Anytime you get 48 points from Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, something wasn't right in that scouting report, right? I just don't think guys were just amping up to play. You're playing at home in crypto arena. You just have to have more energy, like offensive rebounding, diving on the floor. The best bright part about it was Luka came to play, right? We've seen the Luka dominance, and LeBron James, we know how effective he could be in this series, but the others have to play better and not just making shots, but just with more energy, more aggressiveness, and better on the defensive end.
Well, you're not the only one who noticed that the aggressiveness didn't seem to be there. Let's put up the Magic tweet, because Magic Johnson, one of the greatest Lakers of them all, and obviously still so much a part of what they're doing in L.A., tweeted, Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job for Game 1. The Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he didn't make any necessary adjustments. Booz, when you see a team that got beat to the loose ball, is that on the coach? Do you point the finger of blame, at least for Game 1, at J.J. Redick?
I mean, the coach's job is to get the guys prepared for the game. Once you're on the court, it's the player's job. In my opinion, the players got to make the plays. The coach is going to put you in position to have success, and get you prepared for the game. But if I see a ball on the floor and it's you and me, Greeny, I'm getting the ball. Sorry, right. Greeny. That's got to be the attitude of the guys out there on the court.
Yes. Well, if it's you and me, I'm not really worried about it. I would bet on you too. But in general, when it's one NBA player against another NBA player, I mean, if the Timberwolves, quote unquote, if they looked ready for playoff intensity and the Lakers didn't, is that a bad sign?
That could be a sign on the coach. Did you have your guys ready for the game tonight? Minnesota looked ready. The Lakers did not.
Right. That's the concern. So, Marcus, give me one adjustment. What's one thing the Lakers have to do differently or better to win Game 2? Otherwise, they are in big trouble in round 1.
You have to respect the others. Like I said, 48 points from 2 guys that's not named Anthony Edwards is unacceptable, right? You have to play these guys straight up and down. But also, listen, they did differently in the regular season. This is the playoffs. Everything goes out the window. Scouting report goes out the window. You have to come out. You have to guard your yard. You have to play hard. You just have to master the intensity. So the one thing I would say is be ready. Be ready to fight.
We're going to find that out. Meanwhile, Friday, we've got a trio of NBA playoff Game 3s. We will have Celtics Magic starting at 7 Eastern. That's on ESPN. We have the Pacers and Bucks at 8 Eastern. That's going to begin on ESPNU. And then the Lakers.
The Rockets, the Warriors, and we expect a war. My turn, your turn.